Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. I welcome you to the first session of our class on the sciences of the Quran. The sciences of the Quran. It is basically a translation of the Arabic term Ulum al-Quran. Alaykum as-salam wa rahmatullah. Ulum is the plural of the word ilm. Al-ilm means to have knowledge. Now there's a detailed discussion as to what ilm is, but I'm not going to be going into all of that, inshallah. And the Quran itself, we are only going to be defining as the revealed book, the book that was revealed upon the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. It starts with Surat Al-Fatiha, it ends with Surat Al-Nas. Right? Little bit greater detail further on, inshallah, but not too much. Now before I continue, we as Muslims, we have three primary duties towards the Quran. We as Muslims have three primary duties towards the Quran. The first duty towards the Quran is to receive the message. You must open your heart up to the message of the Quran. So open your heart up to the message of the Quran. Now here there's something. One of the terms for message in Arabic would be risala. Risala means a letter. You understand? Or a message. So the person that sits with a message from Allah to others, that person is normally called a Rasul. So what's the difference between a Nabi and a Rasul? Ulama have various opinions, but perhaps one of the best opinions is that a Nabi is somebody that receives wahi from Allah, revelation from Allah. Allah speaks to him, a Nabi. So the term Nabi speaks of his relationship with Allah. The term Nabi speaks of his relationship with Allah. Then if that Nabi was given a book that he has to convey to the people, then in addition that Nabi is now called a Rasul. So it's for this reason that we say that every Rasul is a Nabi, but not every Nabi is a Rasul. Right? Some ulama say this slightly differently. They say a Nabi is somebody that receives wahi, revelation, while the Rasul is somebody that has his own Sharia, his own legal system, he has his own Sharia. A good example of this is Nabi Harun and Nabi Musa, peace be upon both of them. So who's the main Nabi between the two of them? Musa. Which of the two had a book? Musa. Which of the two had the Sharia? Musa. So on which Sharia was Harun then? Moses' Sharia. Which book did Harun follow? The book of Moses. You understand? So one of the ways that I like to explain this to people, and hopefully it won't be considered disrespectful, is like the concept of a superhero, Batman. But if you look next to Batman, what do you see? Robin. So what's Robin? What's the term for him? So one is the superhero and his sidekick. You understand? So a Rasul is like the main superhero. And then the Robin is also a superhero, but he's a sidekick superhero. You understand? What is meant by that is like the one is the Amir and the other one is his lesser follower, also a superhero. You understand? So also a Nabi, but not as high as the other. And between Nabi Musa and Nabi Isa, there were numerous prophets. Between Nabi Musa and Nabi Isa, all killed by the Jews, rejected by them. You understand? What's the term for them? Nabi. Nabi. Whose book did they follow? The book of Moses. Whose Sharia did they follow? The Sharia of Moses. So let's see if you can answer the following question. A bit of a controversy that some people are trying to produce, including here in Cape Town. The question is, it doesn't make sense for Nabi Isa to come back, because if Nabi Isa comes back, he's going to be a follower of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. So then he's no longer a Nabi. How could a person be a Nabi one moment and another moment is not a Nabi? So I want you to answer that question based upon what you've just learned. How are you able to answer that question based upon what you've just learned? It's an objection to the return of Nabi Isa. How would you answer it? So the answer is the following. One moment Nabi Isa is a Nabi and a Rasul. You understand? And when he comes back, he's a Nabi and still a Rasul, but his people are no longer there. You understand? So he won't be the Rasul of this people. He's the Rasul of a people that had died. So he's still technically a Rasul. You understand? But his people had died. So now he's only a Nabi. You understand? And he will now teach the teachings of the Rasul of this time. Is everybody with me? So Nabi Isa is not going to be stripped of his status as a Nabi. Neither is he really stripped of his status as a Rasul. He is a person that received the book and a Sharia. And he passed it on to his people. But you see, his people, they died. You understand? So that part of him is no longer active. You understand? So now when he comes back as a Nabi. And he will now teach people the Risalat, the message of the Prophet Muhammad. Peace be upon him. And Allah knows best. Is everybody with me thus far? Either way, our first duty towards revelation from God, which is a mercy unto us. It's a mercy unto us. It is guidance unto us. I want you to ponder for a moment. If I go to a shop and I buy any type of equipment, a laptop, or if I buy my child a robot, if it comes with no instructions, no manual, and it's a very complicated thing, don't you feel that the manufacturer did you in? I'm buying a very complicated thing, but it doesn't tell me how to use it. It doesn't even say, does it need batteries? You understand? Is the batteries included? Yes or no? To a certain degree, you feel done in. You understand? But if this complicated instrument comes with detailed instructions, then you feel that the manufacturer has done his duty towards you. So it's the same. The most complex thing in creation is actually you yourself. You understand? And you would imagine that people would know themselves. But to be honest with you, the thing humans are most ignorant about is themselves. But the manufacturer, that is Allah, He has provided a manual. You understand? And that manual is the Quran. So it is a mercy unto mankind. So it is hoped and it is expected that mankind will receive it well. Mankind will embrace it as the truth. And that mankind will constantly be making effort to read it and listen to it. Constantly effort to read it and listen to it. And on this point, the ulama have said that the Quran is an ocean without shores. The Quran is a book. It doesn't matter how learned you are, and it doesn't matter how experienced in life you are. But every time you read the Quran with understanding, you will understand something new. Every time you read the Quran with understanding, you will understand something new. Even if you live to be 600 years old, and you read the Quran for the 6 millionth time, there will be a new thing that you will find in the Quran. The lessons of the Quran, they are infinite. So it is not like a novel that you read once, and now somebody asks you, when last did you read that novel? I read it in 1940, why must I read it again? If it was what khaandaan. You understand? The Quran is not like that. You will never have full grasp of the Quran. And as you experience things in life, verses will take on new meaning. You understand? New understandings will come out. You understand? And it will provide guidance for your daily experience. To say it in a different way, you have a choice. Either the Creator will whisper into your ear, or creation will whisper into your ear. Creation have a lot of ignorance. Creation is frequently misguided. So make sure that the one that whispers in your ear is the one that knows everything. Make sure the one that whispers in your ear is the one that has your best interests at heart. Even if it's your husband or wife, are you 100% convinced that they always have your best interest at heart? I'm going to expose something interesting to you. If I teach my wife something about wudu or tahara, she takes it instantly. But if I try to teach her something about marriage, then she hesitates. But if she hears Mullah Khalil say so, or Mullah Gouda say so, or somebody else, then she takes it. So why in marriage is there hesitation? Not in wudu, not in tahara, not in najasa. Why not? Because there's no potential of what? Ulterior motive. You understand? But if I want to teach her something about marriage, then the mind starts thinking, miskien try om die appie in te kry. Miskien is daar some hak wat is my hak. Want hy wil dit nie nie. Of hy hou dit weg. You understand? But die ander Maulana, hy sal mos nie lieg nie. Hy's niks ulterior motive nie. You understand? So this is the problem when you're dealing with humans. There's always the possibility of ulterior motive. Because you can benefit them and you can harm them, but you cannot benefit Allah. And you cannot harm Allah. So with Allah there is no ulterior motive. Allah neither desires benefit from you, nor does Allah fear your harm. Whatever Allah does for you is solely out of love for you. Whatever Allah does for you is solely in your best interest. There is no ulterior motive. So the question is, who is whispering in your ear? If you are constantly reading the Quran and studying the commentary of the Quran, the Hadith, then the Creator of the worlds, He is whispering in your ear. And you are constantly moving towards haqq. You understand? Developing yourself even more. Yeah, you need to understand that no one has a full grasp of reality but Allah. As for us creation, we all love interpretations of reality. We all love interpretations of reality. When we look at something, we look at it through the glasses of our ego. You understand? And our ego causes us not to see the full picture. We need to have somebody whisper in our ear that sees reality the way that it is. And if it is not our ego, then it is our ignorance. And if it is not our ignorance, then it is something else. But there's always something that blurs our vision. We need to be speaking and communicating with somebody that knows everything. So the first level is to receive the message. We listen to the Quran and we recite the Quran. The second level is to make effort to understand the message. So two of the ways that you make effort to understand the message is that you reflect upon the meanings. What can this possibly mean? And how does this apply to my life? And then also you study it. So before I continue, it doesn't matter which scholar gives you a definition of the Quran. They are all in agreement. No translation of the Quran is Quran. They are all in agreement that no translation of the Quran is Quran. This is a question that I've asked people of other books, divine books as well. Are you reading the Bible every day? They say yes. I say you lie. Are you reading the Torah every day? They say yes. I say you lie. For example, if you focus on the Christians alone, Jesus was a Hebrew. You understand? So which language did he speak? Must have spoken the language of that time. Hebrew, Aramaic, Syriac, etc. The oldest copies of the Bible is in which language? Who can tell me? It's in Greek. I'm not speaking of the Old Testament. I'm speaking of the New Testament. The oldest copies of the New Testament is in Greek. So Jesus is speaking to Israelites, but his holy book is in Greek. How does that make sense? So you know what is the answer of modern Christian scholars? They say the Romans were Hellenized. What does that mean? The Romans were Hellenized. Hellenized meaning they were impressed with Greek culture. So his audience are the Israelites. They speak Hebrew. The overlords are the Romans. They speak Latin. The Bible, the oldest copies, are neither in Hebrew nor in Latin. It is in Greek. You understand? It is in Greek. How did that happen? Like to just give you an example. Jesus is the Messiah that they await for, isn't it? The term for Messiah in Hebrew and Arabic is Masih. So how did Messiah become Christ? Jesus Christ. Christ is the Greek version of the term Messiah, Christos. You understand? If you take the word Masih and you translate it into Greek, it becomes Christos. You understand? And from Christos, you put it into English, it becomes Christ. So that is how he became Jesus Christ. The term Jesus Christ actually means Al-Masih Isa. And we agree, he is Al-Masih. You understand? And he is Isa. You understand? But it went via Greek to English. So here's something interesting for you. Something that you might find shocking. It isn't really, but you might find it so. All the ulama of the world are in agreement. The translation of the Quran is haram. It's haram to translate the Quran. Are you shocked? Huh? If it's haram to translate the Quran, how can there be translations? In every masjid there's a translation, in my house there's a translation. So this is the issue. The ulama mean a verbatim translation. Verbatim translation of the Quran, tarjama harfiya, it is haram. But a paraphrasal of the Quran is permissible. What does that mean, to paraphrase? To paraphrase means, yes, somebody was saying something? Yeah. When you paraphrase, you are not attempting an exact translation. You are saying, this is what I understand. In a paraphrasal, you are saying, this is my understanding of what the speaker is saying. But I'm not suggesting that what I'm saying is the very word of the speaker translated. So actually every translator is saying, this is my understanding, this is my understanding. Like many of the translations, if they put in Arabic, right, you'll see they don't put tarjamatul Quran. Tarjama means translation, Quran is Quran, right? They put tarjama to ma'anil Quran, translation of the meanings of the Quran. Why did they have to add meanings? You could have just said translation of the Quran. But if you look carefully, you'll see that it actually says translation of the meanings of the Quran. Because it's actually trying to tell you, this is what I understood. But the Quran is much more than what any single individual has understood. Whether his name is Yusuf Ali, whether his name is Nu'man Ali Khan, you understand? Whether her name is Aisha Bewley, you understand? Or it doesn't matter who. You understand? The Quran is much more than what any single translator has understood. That is why translation is not Quran. For example, in the Shafi madhab, I need wudu to touch a copy of the Quran, isn't it? And if this is only translation, do I need wudu? Why not? Huh? Because it is not Quran. You understand? It's the understanding of the translator. Is everybody with me? Righto. So our second step is to understand the message. And you can only fully attempt to understand the message if you sit with the original text. You understand? Translation is for somebody that doesn't know Arabic. It's a crutch for somebody that doesn't know how to walk. But inshallah, you must learn how to walk. You understand? Inshallah, you must learn how to walk. You understand? You must negotiate the actual text that was revealed to humanity. If you don't, you can never claim to be a scholar. We find this every day. People who don't know the Arabic language, but they think they are great scholars. They think they are great mujtahidun. You cannot be a mujtahid and a scholar of the Quran if you are reading translation. Then you are not studying Quran. Then you are studying that person's understanding of the Quran. That is what you are doing. A mujtahid is an independent scholar that doesn't need to take from anybody. He takes directly from the sources. If you take via Yusuf Ali, or you take via Nu'man Ali Khan, then you aren't a mujtahid. You understand? Because then you are the muqallid of Yusuf Ali. You are the muqallid of Nu'man Ali Khan. Now I'm not disparaging that level of study. That level of study is a good level, mashallah, for the one that requires it. I just need you to understand that there's a higher level and that there's a true negotiation of the sources. You understand? There's a true negotiation of the Quran directly, and there's a true negotiation of the Hadith directly in its Arabic format. Allah chose to select an Arab for this final message. Allah chose that the message be in the Arabic language. So it is important that the Arabic language is studied. Lots of people in Cape Town study the Arabic language for conversation purposes. And then they believe that they know Arabic. Studying Arabic for conversation purposes, mashallah, good thing. It's good to speak to your Muslim brother and sister in the language of Islam. But the primary reason for studying the Quran must be to negotiate the Quran. Must be to negotiate hadith. That must be the primary reason. Then you will be rewarded, insha'Allah. You understand? And in Cape Town, for many of us, English is our native tongue. If I were to give you a legal text, would you understand it? A legal text using lots of legal jargon and so forth, would you understand it? Would you? No, you wouldn't, no? But your native tongue is English. The book is in English. Why don't you understand it? But you can speak English well, isn't it? So conversational Arabic you know well, and then you want to read the Quran. Does it necessarily, does the one ability translate into the other ability? Conversational Arabic, then you want to read hadith. Conversational Arabic, and then you want to read legal texts, books of fiqh, or books of aqidah. Does the one translate into the other? Not necessarily. Conversation is memorization of lines, man. Masmuk is me. Masmuk is me. Masmuk is me. Say it 1,000 times. Masmuk is me. Is me. Masmuk is me. And here things go really haywire. When I was a student, we came to Cape Town one day. We made Fajr at a certain masjid. And then there was a guy trying to impress people that he knows Arabic. So he was just speaking lots of weird stuff. So one of the students that was with me felt he's going to put him in his place now. I said, I don't advise. I don't advise. Stay out of this thing. You understand? So he went over and he told the guy, Masmuk. Without hesitation, the guy said, Mismak. And then he was confused. He didn't know what to do next. You understand? So I said, Kon man, wat sy brein werk vinnig. Hy is soos fasig. Glipperig, my friend. Glipperig. You understand? Escape at all times. And Allah knows best. Anyway, come back to the mas'ala here. So the second thing is to understand the message. Right? Translation is one level of understanding, mashallah. If you don't know Arabic, you must go via translation. But then, over the years, you must learn Arabic, inshallah. You're going to live to approximately 65 years, sometimes more than that. You understand? You've got all that time to learn the basics of Arabic and to develop it. You understand? A simple issue here is, what if I were to say, to ensure that you have a basic understanding of deen, you should spend 1 hour in the study of deen every week. 1 hour. Is that asking a lot? No? How many people do you know that do that? Like, look in your own family. No, not those people here. Look in your own family. I'm asking you, look in your own family. How many people do you know that give 1 hour a week for the study of deen? They sit in one class a week for the study of deen. How many people in your family do you know? You don't need to answer, you must just think. You understand? So, if they are misled afterwards, they fall into dalala, who must be blamed? So this is a thing that I've seen in the Quran a few times, where Allah sometimes says, haqqat alayhimud dalala, they deserve to go astray. When I saw it the first time, I was shocked. God saying that these people deserve to go astray. You understand? And after pondering in it, reflecting in it, looking into my own life and the life of others, I realized that besides Allah, everything is in flux. Everything is constantly changing. Everything is dynamic. And the law of life is that the thing is either improving or it is decaying. It is falling into corruption. So if you're not making effort to improve, then what are you busy with? Decaying. Like something that the ladies understand well. If you're not working on your marriage, where's your marriage going? It's fraud. It's decaying. You understand? Marriage doesn't say the same. So if you don't make effort to make it better, what's happening? It's becoming worse. You understand? Everything in life is like that. If you see that guy polishing his car, you understand, putting nugget on the tires, which to me is, I don't understand that one. There's lots of things we do in today's time. If I were to tell people of 200 years ago, they wouldn't understand. You shampooing your carpet and all of that. You understand? 200 years ago, they wouldn't understand these things. You understand? So much time in the dunya, so little time in the akhirah. But either way, the principle is either you are making effort to improve, or it is decaying. It is falling into corruption. Your knowledge of Allah, your knowledge of Deen, your knowledge of how you should live your life is exactly the same. Nothing stays the same. Allah knows the past, the present, and the future. In the past, I was ignorant. Now I know. Tomorrow I will forget. So my knowledge is preceded by an ignorance, and it is followed by an ignorance. The first ignorance is when I didn't know in the first place. The second ignorance is when I forgot. How do I stop forgetting? How do I stop from forgetting? I revise. I go over the work. You understand? Otherwise I forget. This is what I know, What I know I will forget. Then what about what I don't know? I will never know it if I'm not making effort. So if you're not making effort to look after a thing, it decays. In dunya, everybody knows this. In deen, they don't know. If somebody shows you a shiny glass, well, you ask your barber whether it is diamonds. So why do you discuss deen with your barber? Where I cut my hair in Lansdowne Road near Epsa. I cut my hair there. Old gentleman. The moment you walk in, he greets you nicely, Assalamu alaikum. Then instantly he wants to discuss something about the Muslim community. Always I thought he was a Muslim and very interested in Islam. But I recently discovered he's Hindu. So I'm just wondering, if he is your source of deen, you understand? Your Hindu barber, you understand? Then where are you going to go in life? Where are you going to go in life? So this is what we do with regards to dunya. When it comes to dunya, shiny glass, I go to the jeweler, the expert in diamonds. I ask him, are these things diamonds? When it comes to deen, I ask my barber. If not the barber, the radio presenter. You understand? If not the radio presenter, then just somebody around the corner, any guy with a beard. You understand? I ask. There's a specialist in every field. One of the laws of success is apply to your deen what you apply to your dunya, and I'm sure that you will be successful. Whatever law you're applying to your dunya, apply that law to your deen, and I'm sure that you will be successful. Everything that you value, you are working to maintain. So, are you working to maintain your understanding of the Quran, your understanding of deen? So constantly, besides reading the Quran, I must study the Quran and I must reflect upon the Quran. The best obviously is to do this via the Arabic language. The books of tafsir, the study of one ayah in light of other ayahs, the study of a selection of ayat in relation to a hadith. You understand? That the Prophet ﷺ also spoke about those particular verses, etc. Best done in the Arabic language. But if not, then at least know the good translators of your time. If somebody were to ask you what's a good translation of the Quran, then what would you say? Do you have one in your house? Are you regularly reading it? In fact, you could do a simple thing such as the following. Every day, just open the Quran. And then wherever your eye falls, read that verse and ponder in that verse for that day. You understand? Many people who do this, they discover that frequently the verse they read that day, it coincides with the happenings of that day. And it provides guidance for that day. Or something that they were struggling with. You understand? For a period of time. Then in that period of time, one day they open the Quran and then the answer is right there. You understand? Your journey through life via the Quran. Then the third is to apply the message of the Quran. So one, you must receive the Quran, you must read it. Number two, you must make effort to understand it. And number three, you must apply it. Deen is not theory. Deen is theory and practice. Deen is not just knowledge. Deen is knowledge and action. A surah, if you are making your fard salah every day, then there's a surah that you are reciting 17 times a day. So if you're making nafil, you're reciting it even more. But there's a surah you're reciting 17 times a day. Surat Al-Fatiha. What is Surat Al-Fatiha composed of? First and foremost, many ulama say Surat Al-Fatiha is a summary of the entire Quran. The universal message of the Quran is somehow compressed into Surat Al-Fatiha. Last year in the year 2019, there's a few new sciences that I studied, one of which is called Nonviolent Communication. And in the science Nonviolent Communication, the founder of the science says, all nonviolent communication is only two things: please and thank you. Please and thank you. Any other communication is somehow violence. So if you're saying please or you're saying thank you, then it's non-violent communication. If not, it somehow involves violence. So Surat Al-Fatiha is 7 verses. The first 3.5 verses you praise Allah. The second 3.5 verses you ask of Allah. So what is happening in the first 3.5 verses? Thank you. And in the last 3.5 verses, please. Thank you, please. And the please is what? Ihdina Surat Al-Mustaqim. Guide us to the straight path. Surat Al-Ladina An'amta Alayhim. The path of those whom you have favored. Who are those that you have favored? The scholars say, those that you have given authentic knowledge of reality, especially deen. And you've given them tawfiq, you've guided them to act in accordance with their knowledge. So who are the people that Allah has favored? Those who have ilm, knowledge, and amal, action. Knowledge wasn't just left as theory. We live in an age of talk, much talk, little action. You understand? All the languages somehow have this statement. Like in the English language, what do they say? They say, put your money where your mouth is. What do they mean by that? Moet net praat nie man. Doen. As jy ding gaat koop, sit jou geld neer. Hou op praat. Sit jou geld neer. You understand? Put your money where your mouth is. It's like the signs of the hour. We live in an age where people like to sit over tea and lunch and supper and speak about the signs of the hour. What did the Prophet possibly mean when he said that? Ya'juj and Ma'juj will shoot up arrows into the Sabah. It will come down with blood. Yeah, but in the end of time, people don't use arrows. So maybe it's rockets. What do you think? People like to theorize about things. But what they don't understand is that in Islam, theory has only one purpose, and that is practice. So if you theorize about a thing that has no practical value, then in Islam it doesn't have any real value. If it doesn't have practical value, it doesn't have value. That's how it works. All of knowledge is designed to be acted upon in relation to you that is insan, that is a human. So ilm must have amal. How does Imam Ghazali rahimahullah say it? He says, Al-ilmu bila amalin junun. Knowledge without action is insanity. He is mal. If you know a thing but you don't act, then you're crazy. Wal-amalu bi ghayri ilmin la yakun. But to think you can act and you don't possess the requisite knowledge, that is just plain impossible. Al-ilmu bila amalin junun. Wal-amalu bi ghayri ilmin la yakun. La yakun. It just cannot be. So guide us to the straight path, the path of those that you have favored, those who had knowledge and they acted. Who are they? Min al-nabiyyin, wa siddiqeen, wa shuhada'i, wa salihin. They are all people that had knowledge and they acted in accordance with their knowledge. غَيْرِ الْمَغْضُوبِ عَلَيْهِمْ. Not the way of those who have earned your anger. Who are they, the ulama say? They say they are those that possess knowledge but they don't act. Epitomized by the Jews. The Jews are a knowledgeable people. You make a big mistake if you think they're idiots. They are a knowledgeable people, but they don't act. They know what is right, they know what is wrong, still they do wrong. You understand? Any human, If you see what they do to the Palestinians, you will instantly know that it is wrong. Many non-Muslims go to Palestine and they see, and then they speak out against it. Can the Jews not see themselves? Yes, they see. But they suffer an intense form of self-denial. You understand? An intense form of self-deceit. They suffer. Where the obvious is denied because of ego. And Allah knows best. So they are worthy of the anger of Allah because they have knowledge but they don't act. وَلَا الضَّالِّينَ. No, those who have strayed. Who are those who have strayed? Those who don't have knowledge, yet they act. They don't have knowledge, yet they act. Epitomized by who, the scholars say? By the Christians. Your average good Christian tries to be a good person. They try to be nice. But to be honest with you, they have no true understanding of religion. They have no true understanding of their God. You understand? And so they have strayed from the path for lack of knowledge. So, in the previous section of Surah Al-Fatiha, I'm asking Allah, I want to be of those who have ilm and amal, knowledge and action. I don't want to be of those who have knowledge but they don't act because they are worthy of the anger of Allah. And I don't want to be of those who act but without knowledge. And so they are still misguided. Though they got good intention, they are still misguided because they don't act in accordance with knowledge. Epitomized by the Jews, epitomized by the Christians. But it will apply to any Muslim that has knowledge but doesn't act. Or has no knowledge but still acts. And Allah knows best. So that's why the ulama are saying, before you enter into anything, you must first get the requisite knowledge. Before you get married, you must study marriage. Before you talaq, you must study talaq. Before you do a business dealing, you must study. So what is happening in Cape Town? Regularly people are divorcing their wives 3 times. Then afterwards the Imam tells them, if you divorce 3 times, at the end of your marriage, you can't be reconciled. Oh, I didn't know that. You didn't know that, but you're offering 3 talaqs. Huh? In fact, I had a case where the father told his son, divorce your wife so that you can reconcile. I said, nice. Why don't you shoot somebody so that you can heal them? Who knocked it on her son? How does these things make sense, man? So it is happening when you don't study your deen. When you enter into things that you have no knowledge of, then these things happen. And so you live to regret it. So the third one is, knowledge is not designed to be theory. In the time of the Prophet ﷺ told many Sahaba about the signs of the hour. One Sahabi wasn't present when that happened. So he came to the Prophet afterwards and he told the Prophet of Allah, tell me about the signs of the hour. I will go to word. Then the Prophet ﷺ told him, don't worry about it. Muaadth laha. What did you prepare for the hour? So why is the Prophet telling him this? He's telling him, I didn't tell people about the signs of the hour so that they can just speculate. You understand? So that they can just theorize and speak about it. I told people of the signs of the hour so that they can prepare. In your life, there's 2 qiyamas. There's the qiyamah of the dunya and there's your own qiyamah. The qiyamah of the dunya approaches slowly and your own qiyamah approaches very fast. And constantly the signs of the hour are upon you. Why am I doing this? Gray hair. The signs of the hour are upon you. Are you realizing you're dying? Are you realizing that the way of the world is that things have an incline and then they have a decline? And the amazing thing is, some things die even in the incline. But I mean, if you're in the decline and you're not thinking about death, that's the most bad, man. The people in the incline should realize they can die. But if you're in the decline and yet you're still not thinking of death, you understand? Then what? Still not preparing for death. Then what? So don't theorize about death. Don't theorize about Qiyamah. Get ready. Get ready to die. Get ready for the death of the world. Understand that this issue is fleeting. So what you've learned, put it into practice. Don't hesitate. Don't leave for tomorrow what can be done today. If a thing is worth doing, it's worth doing now. In one of the hadith, the Prophet ﷺ said, Halakal musawwifun. The people who say, Sofa, soon. they will fall into destruction. When are you going to make salah? Soon. When are you going to for hajj? Soon. And before soon comes, you die. And Dawood Samson has a very nice example of this. He says a couple and their children were on a journey towards some place or the other. But their car, let's say a station wagon. And as they're driving, they saw an old man next to the road. So they stopped. The old man was hiking and they asked him, where are you going? And what can we do for you? So he said, my name is Wealth. And I'm going wherever you want to go. So wherever you're going, I want to go. Is there a place for me? So the father says to the children in the back, make space. Wealth must definitely go with us. There's no ways we can leave Wealth next to the road. So then they drove a little bit more and they saw another old man next to the road, hiking as well. They stopped, they asked, who are you? He said, my name is Fame. And I also want to go wherever you go. Tells his children, make place. You understand? Fame must definitely go with us. You understand? There's no way Fame is going to stay here. Fame is going to go with. Then they continue driving. Another old man. Who are you? Where you want to go? My name is Dean. I want to go with you. Then he tells Dean, as you can see, the car is full. The car was already full when it was just my wife and the children. But I made place for Wealth. And I made place for Fame. And I made place for lots of other things. And now there's unfortunately no place for you. But don't worry. On the way back we'll get you. As ons terugkom, gaan ons jou vang, nie worry nie. So far, soon, we're going to get you. Then they continue on the journey, and suddenly there's a roadblock. And as they turn at the roadblock, they discover that the traffic officer, his name is Death. So now they say to the traffic officer, we just want to go back and fetch Dean, man. We forgot something. So what's the traffic officer going to say to them? No going back. No going back. There's a thing that the angel of death says to people who make excuses at the time of death. It is one word. But that one word fills me with so much dread. It's unbelievable. You understand? So the people, they say to the angel of death, لَوْ أَنَّ لَنَا كَرَةً أُخْرَى. If we just had another opportunity. If you can just quickly leave us so we can make salah and give some sadaqah and be pious. Do you know what's death's answer? Just one word. He just says this, Al-Ana, Al-Ana, now only. Now only. Nou wil sy dit aan doen. You understand? So when the angel of death comes for you, he only wants you to do one thing. And that is, die. Not discuss. You understand? And a lot of other things. He just wants you to do one thing, and that's die. You understand? So what I understand from that is not the now to act. Thus is the now to act. Not that now. The now when death comes for you. This is the now. You understand? If something is worth doing, do it now. On top of that, after applying deen in your own life, and you will never have fully applied deen in your life. You understand? There's always some deficiency. So there's always room for improvement. There's always room to do things better. With that, whether it is knowledge or anything else, a policy that I live my life by, and I believe this is the Islamic law, but I like to say it in English idiom. When you are green, you grow. When you ripen, you rot. When you are green, you grow. When you ripen, you rot. So don't ever look upon yourself as ripe. Always look upon yourself as green. And you will continue to grow. But after you've applied deen to yourself, you're making good effort to apply deen to yourself, then this goal that is in your life, known as deen, this goal that has given you a relationship with your Allah, this goal that is going to take you to Jannah insha'Allah, don't you desire it for your loved ones? Your father, your mother, your brother, your sister, your son, your daughter. And if you're a Muslim, then every human out there should also be your loved one. Because what does Allah say? What does the Prophet of Allah say? لا يؤمن أحدكم حتى يحب لأخيه ما يحب لنفسه. None of you has true iman until he loves for his brother, meaning his fellow human, what he loves for himself. So you desire Jannah for yourself, you desire the pleasure of Allah for yourself, then you must desire it for every other human out there. So not only must you apply deen to your own life, You must make effort to spread that application. You understand? Teach it to your loved ones, immediate family, and teach it to the rest of the world as well. My time up? Finish now? Okay, inshallah, it's a bit of an introduction. Next week, inshallah, we'll go into the sciences of the Quran itself, a basic definition of the sciences and what they are, and we'll continue from there, inshallah. Today was a bit more of a warm-up. So, I think we tried to keep it a bit light today, inshallah. But as we continue, it's going to become a lot more serious. I just want to quickly say also that I like the class to be an open class. So if there's any questions that you have, please feel free to ask your question, inshallah. On condition that the question is only asked ikhlasan li wajillah, solely to please Allah. You understand? With no ulterior motive. You understand? Then also, generally, just a request on my side, while I'm in the train of thought, don't ask the question then, because then I will lose my train of thought. You understand? And I might not remember where I was. So wait until there's a pause in the discussion, and then you ask the question. But certainly, we want the class to be interactive, and we want to open up the discussion to anyone that has a question, inshallah. All of the best to you. We see you next week. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.